Oh, we're live. We're live. Oh, I'm sorry. Welcome back, everybody, to another revolutionary thought here on the Rollman Revolution audio podcast YouTube page. Now, if you haven't met me before, my name is Dave Rollman, also known as Dave Man, whatever you want to call me. You can call me asshole. You can call me whatever you want. But in a revolutionary thought, this time, what I figured we would discuss is the recent election of Donald J. Trump and his inauguration to the presidency. So, a lot of people out there right now are extremely pissed, especially those on the liberal side or the left side or the Democratic side or whatever kind of label you want to put on it. And what I'm trying to understand about people and understand about this whole election process, because I've done many videos about how parties don't matter, political parties don't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a D in front of your name or an R in front of your name anymore. It really doesn't matter because each party has to pander to certain constituency or certain types of lobbying or certain groups that they are funded by. For instance, if I'm a Democrat from, let's say, Alabama, okay, I'm going to get majority of my money from institutions that are going against guns or are going against those people that want to make abortion illegal. They're going to go against, the Republican agenda. So that's where I'm getting my money from. And if I stop doing that, I'm not going to get paid the money I can to try to raise money for my campaign so that I can get reelected again next time. And that's the way the whole cycle goes. That's why I never really liked the idea of lobbying any type of public servants, simply because they are not supposed to be serving the people that give them money. They're supposed to be serving the American people in general, not corporations, but the people. They are elected representatives. See, many people think we live in a democracy. We do not. We live in a republic, a representative republic. What we do is we do the democratic process of going to the voting booth and pledging our vote for our particular candidate, of which that person, he or she, goes to Washington to represent us for our purposes. So in the state of Florida, you have X amount of representatives and you have 2 senators, of which they are supposed to be the voice for the Floridian people or the district that they represent. That's how it works. However, what most people don't seem to realize is that the parties don't matter anymore. And I've said this many times over. Parties don't matter. People do. And what it comes down to is that if your candidate is a person who believes in what they say, says what they mean, means what they says, and then acts upon what it is they're supposed to be doing, that is a candidate that you need to focus on. Plain and simple. I'm tired, and I don't know about you, but I am so tired of listening to all of the talking points and all of the bullshit and all of the frigging nonsense that constantly goes out over the mainstream media from politicians who want to just say what they're supposed to say and be the way they're supposed to be and talk the way they're supposed to talk simply to try to gain your vote. Sick of it. And what people want to understand now is that how can a person like Donald J. Trump get into the presidency when he knows shit about shit and he doesn't understand this and he's a womanizer and he's blah, blah, whatever label you want to put on the guy? I don't understand why people are so obtuse and objective to this man when we have elected so many other cretins and creeps and assholes into public office. And we revoted them in many times even after they've done things that is questionable. But yet, the focus now, because the mainstream media and media in general focus on the negatives about every candidate going into public office, unless it's a candidate that they absolutely love. Like, for instance, this time around, Hillary Clinton was very popular amongst the media, and for the most part, the media is liberal in its own leaning, and that's been, pretty much proven over the last 50 years. We pretty much can get that from any type of television show that you watch, other than Fox News per se, but any type of mainstream media news, it has that liberal tilt. So we got it. But the question that keeps coming up is, how can a guy like Donald Trump gain the spot in the presidency? Well, here's the deal. He was the rogue candidate on the outskirts, basically not a person that had any, reason to even want to run for this office. He's worth $4.5 billion, okay? He's got a successful company, per se, and that's always open to questioning depending upon who you talk to and who you want to listen to. But bottom line is the guy's got money. So there's absolutely no reason for him to go into a position like this to gain more money. Like, for instance, Barack Obama goes in with, let's say, $480,000 in his bank account, comes out with about $12.5, $13 million. So obviously the presidency's done him very well. It was a good investment for him. Now, regardless if you like Barack Obama or not, and you like his policies or not, at the end of the day, we'll judge what he's done over the course of the last 8 years. And a lot of people out there are saying that he's the worst president in history, that he spent too much, that he didn't do anything that he said he was going to do other than Obamacare in his primary and his lead up to the presidency. Never got most of the things accomplished that he wanted to get accomplished. And there may be some truth to that. I would agree with you on a lot of those parts. However, at the end of the day, his campaign is over. He is no longer the president, and now we are dealing with Donald Trump. Now, like him or not, and again, I was a person who did not vote in this election. I had no stake in the outcome. I did not care which way it went at this point, simply because, for the most part, over the last 25, 30, actually since Kennedy, you really didn't have too much choice. And we really still don't have very much choice. It's the illusion of choice. But I went along with it, and I kind of watched the whole process unravel itself, and I watched Hillary and finally Donald Trump get up there and debate it all out. And at the end of the day, the person that won the election was the one that the people believed was going to do what they said they were going to do. Now, there's a lot of issues on the table right now. Immigration, trade, the issues with ISIS, and there are obviously going to be some social issues that are going to come up over the next few years that I know a lot of the people on the left are totally upset about. The repealing of Obamacare, which I believe is an entire disaster. The government is not very good at doing just about anything. It can't do a retirement policy. It's not very, very good at handling education. The last thing in the flipping world that the American government needs to be doing is running an insurance policy. They just can't do it. They're not very good at that kind of stuff. We lose money all the time. What was it that Donald Rumsfeld said? We lost $13.1 trillion, can't account for it. Well, that's a problem. And the fact that our government now is going to be running a healthcare system is not the way it really should be done. So there's a lot of issues that are on the table with Donald Trump and this in his new 4 years. And a lot of things that are going to be, the most important things that you need to look at are going to be the first 100 days. Now, since he's been in office, which is a little around a week now, the man has actually done just about everything he said he was going to do. He signed into law. He signed into law a couple things about immigrations, trying to figure out a way to stop the immigration problem coming across the Mexican border. He's already repealed TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and he's now looking at different things with the ISIS situation. Obviously, he's going to be revisiting a lot of the budgetary situations that we have here in the United States, how we interact with other countries so that we do not get screwed over in the end. What he's talking about, my friends, is the stuff that our government should have been doing in the first place and that most people have not been doing. You got to look out for number one, okay? This is your country, okay? You're like your house, okay? Your family. Now, would you be giving all of your money away to the next door neighbor's family and letting your family starve in the process? Chances are the answer is no to that, unless you got something wrong with you. So what he's looking at, on the generalized term, Donald Trump is looking at, what can I do for the American people to try to get this economy stimulated, to try to get more of American people to feel good about being American again, that this country was built upon. You come here, you work hard, you have opportunities, you should be able to live a very good life. But it's unfortunate today that it requires almost two incomes just to sustain a household. It's impossible pretty much today, unless you're making 75 grand a year and have children. It's almost impossible to even try to make it through a week by week or month by month basis with minimum wage salary or slightly above that. And the reality behind all of this today is that if we don't start to wake up as Americans or as people in general, the people at the highest levels of power are going to continue to keep stomping on the people below them, and they're going to have all the wealth. They pretty much do already. So it's about time that somebody comes in there who's already a wealthy man to begin with, and say, you know what, enough's a frickin' enough. We have to figure out a way to not get screwed over by, China, Mexico, and any other foreign country that is sending products into our country that we don't put tariffs on or don't put an extra tax on, which allows American corporations to go abroad because it's so much cheaper to get the labor down there and make a huge profit here in the United States where we're buying all this shit. So people need to rethink about the ideas of what Donald Trump is doing. I can understand that you may not like him, as the guy, because he has said some really, questionable things, and he may not be the quote unquote, what's the word, the words don't roll off his tongue very sweet, and he's sometimes very in your face and a little bit arrogant and whatnot. And I'm like, I can deal with that to a point. I really can deal with that to a point. What I can't deal with is a president that pussyfoots around all damn day long while the American people, or people in general, are just suffering because nobody in government is doing a damn thing about it. Now, we have all of these elected officials that are supposed to be doing stuff, solving problems, making things better for the ones that they are representing. And to be honest with you, nothing's really happening. And I don't know about you. If I went to work every single day and didn't do a goddamn thing while I was there, I wouldn't have my job very long. If I could hold it for a week, that would be impressive. These people in Congress today, pretty much, it's a lifelong career policy. They'll be doing the same damn job for the next 10 years, whether they're good at it or not. And that has to stop. It's about time the American people and people all across the world start to get engaged with the political process. I'm not saying you have to love it and watch it and bleed it and live it every single day, but you need to be educated on the issues and understanding why you think a certain way. Why do you believe a certain issue to be this way? Or why do you believe a certain issue to be that way? It's very important to be well-read on the different subjects, the different avenues of information that are occurring in our world today. When I see, these little dits on the internet about high school students who don't even know who the damn vice president is, don't know who the first president of the United States was, doesn't know, they can't name 25 of the 50 states in America. But if you were to ask him who Justin Bieber is dating, or who Britney Spears is going out with, or what's that show on television on that network with all the zombies, they can tell you, hook, line, and sinker, what all that shit's about. But at the end of the day, is that the most important thing we really need to know? Pop culture nonsense that's not going to do us any good and is not affecting your life in any way? No. The stuff that really needs to be focused on is the things that matter, and matter to the core. Politics is one of them, because it's your country, it's your world, and it's your life. And if you keep releasing the powers to these people and allow them to just run rampant with them, which they have been doing for 50, 60, 70 years now, you're going to start to watch your securities, you're going to start to watch your retirement, you're going to start to watch everything that you've ever worked for and hoped for go right down the shitter. Because that's the reality, my friends. If you don't wake up to the reality of the way the world really is versus the way the world you want it to be, they're going to write the story however they want to. And then you're going to be left in the dark. And then when you get to the final chapter, you're not going to like the ending. So it's up to you, my friends. It's up to you to start getting engaged and start entertaining this newfound education that we have in America. It's called instant information. It's everywhere. But I'm telling you, flat out to your face, as I look at you right now, do not believe everything the mainstream media is telling you. Because if you take that bait and you digest it and keep digesting it, you are going to be so full of shit that you won't even know what's up, what's down, what's left or right, because they constantly feed you a narrative of nonsense and nonsensical matter to keep you distracted from really what is going on. And if you don't dig deep and dive deep, you are going to be left in the dark. And I don't want that for anybody. And I tell everybody every single day, don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything they say. Look shit up on your own. Get yourself educated about different issues and be a participant in the world today, because we need more people playing the game and less spectators sitting on the sideline. I've had enough of that shit, and I hope you have too. So that's another revolutionary thought. Thank you guys again for joining me. Check me out anytime you want to, www.rollmanrevolution.com. That's where the podcast is. That's where the major community is. We're vamping up the YouTube page. But I'm here for you. Any topic you would like to discuss, anything that you want to get out on the table, anything that is really bothering you, and you say, hey, Dave, I'd really like to get your perception on that, or just have a conversation with me. Send me an email. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, or any other of the avenues out there, because I'm all over the place. But I'm here for you. I am here for you. This is where we change the way you see the world and the way the world sees you. The Rollman Revolution is here every single solitary day just for you. Namaste, my friends. Thank you for checking me out, and have a great week.